Bonjour, y'all. Nola Butterfly here. I'm the lady who proved weather is weaponized by Doppler radar when I noticed the hurricanes going into Doppler radar by the eye, one after the other in 2017, and have caught every hurricane since then being steered by radar and have cracked the code. So today, June 19th, Juneteenth, 2024, happy anniversary here. Not so much a happy anniversary on that one, but we have Alberto. So this is actually an archive page because radar needs to be caught in real time. Please see my Clear Skies presentation to find out all the details on that. My real name is Raphael O'Neill, and I have a presentation that breaks down the whole story, including contrail, climate science, and the discoveries that led to Doppler radar and the rest of the story around that, and then how to read the radar. And we're going to do a little bit of this here too, but just try your best to follow along. If not, you can see some of my other videos to get more information if something is lacking. But I will do my best here to break it down for you. So this is archive. We can actually start here. Let me start June 16th. Radar is best caught live, but this page, pauljhurtado.com, has a composite radar, and you can see leading up to it what was going on. So when the blue is down, they are they are allowing the weather to come through. So this is all down right here, all down on June 16th. This is the 16th through the 17th. So, letting in. A little bit of a buffer over here. These blues, when they bloom out, is a buffer. That's the energizing of the air, and it creates a high pressure area, and nothing goes through it. Very little goes through it. It gets broken up if it does, or it goes around, or it goes up above the dome. So that's what it was like on June 16th. We can see here. June 17th. And I'm sorry I'm in a rush here, but it's either I do this in a rush or I don't do it at all. And the word is starting to get out about Doppler, but you got to understand as much of it as you can. And I'm looking to learn more, but I know what I've cracked, and I know what I've showcased. I'm undebunkable because it's a matter of radar capture and observation and historical data. So unless they change the historical data, I've captured what I've captured. All of this is allowing a system in here. I don't see, I do see some little buffer here. Okay, let's get up close to the last 24 hours. This is the June 18th. Right, up until the following day, supposedly till 3 o'clock, but I'm not sure if we're in Greenwich time or what time zone here. I'm a little bit rusty right now, and I haven't had a chance to review my my knowledge here. They're definitely allowing this system to come into the States here. Not a lot of resistance. They're pulling it up. So now we shall see. Let me just check it out here because this is my first time looking at it. This is me doing it live, even though this is a pre-recorded. Meanwhile, you have the power plants popping off their water vapor. Weather War 101 was wonderful at showing us all of that. Though you can see these in a lot of places, you can just see them coming hyper localized and down on the ground. I've done many years of capturing the power plants popping off before a storm system down in Louisiana. So it is a system. They infuse water vapor where they need it. It's a checks and balances system. At this point, I believe AI is managing a lot of it, most of it. But here we have, okay, this rotation. Let's just see where, what the track is, because I don't even know what this storm has been doing. Let's see if we get an image we can go by that's relatively recent. Okay, none of this is helpful.
New advisory has come in for Tropical Storm Alberto. No major changes, and we weren't anticipating much in the way of any big changes. Of course, that came later late in the morning when Alberto finally movement closer to the Texas coastline. You can see on the storm track, when we look at the forecast track for Tropical Storm Alberto, we're measuring where that center of circulation is going to go, expecting to see a landfall potentially sometime early tomorrow morning. But as we've already been highlighting, the impacts from this storm are far-reaching outside the center, and that is something that you need to remember as we go through the rest of this season. So
remember, the east side of a hurricane is usually the wet and wild side, and then as it dumps all of its water, it comes back out, it's dry. So that you never want to be on the east side. And Louisiana, I'm sorry to say, especially the New Orleans River parishes up to North Shore, they moved the Doppler radar this year, and it's further west, so we're further east. They moved it from Slidell to Hammond. Just wanted to point that out, but let's check this out.
Every storm is different, but every storm has impacts far-reaching from the center. We do have tropical storm warnings that remain in place along the Texas coastline from South Padre Island, Brownsville. We take it all the way up to Galveston. This is where we are expecting to watch the impact of some storm surge, especially in and around high tide with persistent easterly winds off the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to pile up some of that water. We could see storm surge anywhere from up to 2, even up to 4 feet at times, a possibility, and that's going to maybe bring in some concerns in some low-lying areas. We've had steady rain and a couple embedded thunderstorms too. We're watching maybe a brief water spout potential along the coast.
We're
that
not
can
worried
happen.
About water spouts here. So it's coming in, they're saying to Mexico. Let's see if I have some Mexican radar. I used to have I might have some Mexico weather radar. Okay. I used to have a lot better bookmarks back in my last laptop that crashed, and I never retrieved my bookmarks. But let's see. Where are the radars in Mexico? I have not done any of this yet. Oh, Tampico. Isn't that something? Okay. So there's a radar right where it is going into. So let us check out Tampico. The problem with the overseas radar is that they're not very detailed. I'm not impressed with them. I can't read them as well. I can't see the intention of the radar, but I can see that it's there and what the storm is doing in relationship to the radar. But when I go into the COD NEXRAD in College of DuPage, I get a lot better detail on what the radar is doing, and I could see its intention. So this is the furthest south the radar we have in the States. I'm not going to be seeing the Mexican radar like that. Tampico. Honestly, I never even heard of that place. I'm not very familiar with Mexico. Where is my... Okay. Oh, you don't show... Look at how, like, non-detailed this is. What, we can't go any more than that? Okay, there we go. Tampico weather radar. Thank you very much. And... Oh, gotta animate this. Oh, are they cleaning up the image? What's going on here? You can actually see rain going in through here. You can actually see there was a little funnel. So the blue dots that I was showing on these archive things, when they bloom out, that creates a high pressure area. When the blue is small, it's a low pressure area, and it allows the weather in. So, and they pulse. The pulsing creates the checks and balances that is our daily weather, really. And then they also have, when the storms come in and are being driven into the radar, there's a beam that you can usually spot, although the technology's gotten better at hiding that. But I can usually make it out a little bit, if I'm lucky. And you could see it, that beam will be pointing at the eye of the storm nonstop. And the Doppler's own literature says it. Do not point the beam in one direction for too long. It will have environmental effects. It has an effect. So why are we seeing a beam? Why can we detect a beam pointing in the direction of a hurricane for at least a day before it? When there's a hurricane, wouldn't that not be dangerous? I mean, they're only supposed to hit it for a few seconds at a time. And what it does is it ionizes it further. So it creates this path that the storm follows into, especially as the checks and balances create high and low pressure areas that might create valleys for the system to go between or to follow, because that's what it does. And then the beam will bring it in, and it'll bring it into the radar until another Doppler engages with it and catches it and moves it along. So they work together in tandem. But the directional, and there's a lot of gatekeeping. Alex Jones, I'm calling you out right now. We're not done exposing what all you did to cover up Doppler truth, and how you've deleted the evidence that I've shared, and how you only spoke about Doppler after I came out with it publicly during COVID at a lockdown conference that we were having, a freedom conference. But that's a whole other story, and we're going to get into that. Whether I survive or not, that story has already been narrated and told and will be distributed no matter what. But each thing in its time. The best evidence you have are the storms going right into it, one after the other, and so don't neglect to check out the hurricanes, because that's when you see all that energy moving around right into it, and all the others working in tandem with it. So it is a very important piece of the information. It's not the only way to prove it, I'm sure, but it is, I think, the best way, and that's why this work has been so gate-kept, even by our so-called heroes. So, back to Tampico. Yeah, there you have a little going into it. You caught that? Did you see that little funnel? Let's see if I can blow it up. It's going to do it again, and you'll see right there. It comes into there, right there, right? So you do have this link for a second, even though the radar is not that detailed. All right, now let's check out our local radar here. And even here, you could see the energy twirling around. Although you could say, "Oh, it's just a hurricane," but once you've seen these guys, of course, the hurricane's going around and around. There it is. There it is. Okay, so yeah. It's not the flashy things that go in the back. There's a sustained beam that you can usually see that the weather going into, usually, if you're lucky, you could see it. And sometimes it's more like a negative space, but you'll see it, all the weather going into it. It's going around this point here. So another thing we like to do is the storm relative mean velocity mode, which is here. And the red-green show, as Leonard Coleman called it, who showed me this trick, he knows whether they're trying to bring the storm in or keep it out, based on whether the green or the red is facing the storm. But what I found is during the hurricanes, the red and the green go on the side, and there's a white line between them, and it's that white line that the storm goes up and into the radar by. This is a mess, kind of hard to see right now. It's not very, very clear, but it's not the red that stops it, contrary to what you would think with a red light, green light. The red lets it in, and the green stops it when it's just a regular storm. We're not talking about something with an eye, or when there's a front in the system that comes through. But also, what can stop a storm is the blue, right? Let's get back here. The blue. 1 second. The blue that is filling up both rings. When the blue fills up both rings, then they're stopping it. Here they're letting it in. It's inside that first ring and it's weak. It might have a little bit of a pulse, but it's not like occupying both rings. If it's out like that, that is a strong pulse, and it will be breaking up the energy. And they don't want to break up the energy here because they've worked hard to muster up a storm for us. So, whew. It comes, and it's just converging around it. And of course, there's this radar here playing into it too at Tampico, right? And we shall see what else the storm does, but Texas has had enough rain coming up just from this side, right? This is the east side. Let's see what the radar right over. This is Corpus Christi radar, CRP, KCRP. There's that. Oh, no. Let me see. Thought I saw it over here, but then I thought I saw it over there. So let me look. See one there and I see one there. I don't have enough information. It doesn't stay on the screen long enough for me to be able to judge which is the beam that is. Maybe they're two beams, one bringing it in and one sending it down. I don't know the back end as well as the front end. I see it over here. I see this. I see this creating a path to come in here, and they also do rotational vortexes. They will turn clockwise. They could probably turn counterclockwise. Yeah, the beam's there. But I feel like I saw one over here. Okay, let's go back to this guy. Yeah, this one's got one here, right? You can see it. It's faint. It goes even up to here. Okay, look over here. See it? If you're looking on your phone, you might not see it. It might be too small. You might have to get on your computer. Or if you can mirror it to a big screen or your Roku, that'd be even better, right? Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. These beams aren't supposed to stay on. The little flashy ones, those are less... They might be significant, but I'm less likely to make a connection out of those beams than I am from the ones that stay on facing the storm, in which the storm comes in. I mean, it's... Right, so we will have to keep our eye on it if I am able to. I'm doing my best. I'm juggling a lot. And I wanted to pass the torch on to other people, and a lot of other people have started talking about radar, and that's great. I haven't had time to do analysis of their work to see how triangulating they are, because just pointing at the map and saying radar doesn't triangulate on it like these hurricanes do. But we do need to bring awareness, because eventually somebody will come with more scientific know-how that will be able to completely nail every aspect of what it is we're looking at and overlap it with the rest of the science that we know. And I have woken up people to this truth who are radar technicians. I've woken up people to this truth who worked on radome, and they have not disputed this. They were like, oh my God. And the person who was working on radar, he didn't know it was a weaponized deal. He's just a turn screw for the military, But this is a real thing. So we're going to take a break from here, and we will try it we'll try and see what else we can get in the next few hours. All right. God bless and blessed be.
This is a unique little book covering a topic that is much overdue for teaching children about our environment. The title is Funny Clouds, A Chemtrail's Tale, written by Raphael O'Neill, illustrated by Sean Gautreaux, and printed by an Amazon company called Great Space. The story is about little Marie and her mom, who go outside to plant a tree. When they finish, little Marie looks up towards the sky to see strange clouds sprayed by jet aircraft. The story is told in rhyme and prose that can inform but also entertain a young reader. I recommend this book because it has an optimistic message without instilling fear. The story ends on a positive note about how responsible people will ultimately succeed in stopping chemtrails by spreading awareness and taking political action. This little book is a valuable tool for adults to educate their children on an extremely important environmental issue. Informed citizens know that chemtrails were described in House Resolution 2977 as an exotic weapon back in 2001. Concerned parents have a right to protect their children from dangerous chemical experiments in our sky.